Hey everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make 2 cards using the Joythincut. This is the first card, so let's get started. I've got the thin cut, and then I'm also going to use the stamp set called Holiday Special, and this is still available in my online store, and stitch rectangles along with the rose gold papers, and then the second card is going to be some of the Wonderland papers and coordinating cardstock. Okay, I'm going to loosely follow pattern number 28 from Make It From Your Heart Volume 2. All right, so let's get started with the first card. It's going to be a variety of rose golds and desert rose. So I'm going to cut this rose gold paper according to the pattern. So 2 pieces at 4 by 1 3/4 and 1 at 4 by 1 1/2. Okay. And then I've already cut a piece of desert rose glitter paper at my card base size. So that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I have a strip of glitter paper cut at 5 1/2 by 3/4 inches. Okay, so now I have this panel. I've got a piece of cinnamon cardstock and a piece of peach, and I am doing some tone-on-tone stamping with peach ink using this Starfield background. So I'm just going to cover this whole panel with this image to create some stars in my background, and then I'll be laying my Joy die cut over it. Okay, so off screen I have cut this Joy image using the die cut and copper ore paper, and then I've cut 2 more in cinnamon cardstock, and I'm going to stack them so that they have some dimension. So I'm just going to glue them together using the Aqua Tombow. So I'll show you the process for gluing this together for this first one, and then for the second card I've already glued everything. Okay, so just layer it and pinch them together so they stack, and then I'll place a block over it so that it can set up. All right. Okay, so now we're ready to start assembling the card. I have a regular A2 card base, and this is going to be landscape orientation. So I'm just going to put everything down with tape runner. So let's start with that desert rose glitter paper and put that down. And then I'll show you how to line everything up. So I'm using the measurements on my Versamat, and I'm going to find the center point of my card. I'm going to start with the middle piece. I'm going to place that down right in the middle. And then the left and right panel, I'm going to place and leave just a bit of cardstock showing, of glitter cardstock showing between. And that's the easiest way to get everything to line up. Okay. And then I'll take my strip of glitter paper and I'm going to place that down. And then I'll stack my Starfield panel. And I'm going to pop that using some thin foam tape. But before putting that down, I decided I wanted some more of this copper ore paper to show. So I'm going to put a strip that's 1/2 inch by 5 1/2 inches over my glitter paper. So it has a border of glitter around it. So get that down, kind of designing as I go. And then I'll place that panel down. And this is all according to the pattern. And then I'll place my Joy down. And I thought that was enough. Non-traditional Christmas colors, but the sparkle is really pretty. Okay, so there's my finished card. Got some close-up shots here, and then we'll do another card. Okay, so my next card is going to be a Slimline card. So I'm going to start out by cutting my base in black cardstock at the Slimline Card base size, which is 3.5 by 8.5. And then I'm going to stamp on this Wonderland paper. It looks like snow. And I'm going to use the trees from the holiday special set. And I'm going to stamp them on this star field. So I'm going to do 2nd gen stamping. And before I start stamping, I realized I needed to flip my Versamat over to the soft side. It gives a better image. So you just stamp off your first inked up image and then huff on your stamp. So to re-moisten it and then stamp on your cardstock. Okay, so you stamp it off, huff on it, and then stamp your image. So you get a lighter version of the color Harbor on this pattern paper. I'm just going to stamp a row of trees in the lighter color. And then we're done with our stamping. Okay. So now I'm going to bring in some Harbor cardstock and my Big Shot. And I'm going to use the smallest die in the Stitched Rectangle Frames set. And I'm going to create 4 frames in Harbor. Okay, so I have all 4 cut out, and now I'm going to trim down this stamped paper to fit my rectangles. Okay, so I'm measuring them about 3 inches tall. So I'm going to trim this paper. Make sure I have the right size. Trim that down to 3 inches. And then each rectangle was about 1 3/4. So I'm just going to cut each so that they line up and the image still has some continuity there. And then I'll just glue each of these rectangle frames onto that background paper. Okay, skip ahead in a second. Okay, so now we're ready to start building our cards. So I have a Slimline card base. And I'll place my black cardstock down using tape runner. And then it's basically the same process. I'll use my Versamat to find the center of this card. It's also landscape. And before I put that first one down on the left, I realized I needed to start in the middle. So I found the center of my card, and I'm going to start with the 2 center panels and line them up so they're centered. So you can get them evenly placed on the card. We'll tack all of these down. And again, I'm kind of designing as I go. Okay, so I've cut a piece of black ore paper at 3/4 of an inch, but I realized that too much of my background was being covered up. So I'm going to use a piece of silver shimmer trim. And again, I've cut this panel, but it was covering up all of my trees. So I decided to not use that. I'm just kind of putting things down before I start tacking them down. So I've cut out my Joy embellishment using black ore paper, and I've stacked it with 2 other pieces of black cardstock. And then I decided just to use this piece of shimmer trim. So I'm going to place that down, and then I'll place the Joy die on top of it. You never know till you get everything laid out, but before you start gluing things down, take a look at it, and then your card will come together. So I'm going to glue that down, and then I thought it needs just something a little extra, so I have some of these black and white dots. So I'm going to use the white dots and scatter a whole bunch of those around. Again, kind of non-traditional colors. I think it turned out pretty. This harbor paper is beautiful. And there's my finished card. So I appreciate you watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click on my photo or hit that subscribe button, and then you'll be able to see all of my videos. I'll make a list of supplies in the description below with links, and you can shop at the arrow in the upper right corner. And thanks for watching.